So as we can see, here's our suggested pacing for our kindergarten to grade 6 teachers at Edmonton Catholic Schools with regards to science. You'll notice that K to 3 remain on Earth systems for November and December, whereas we in 4, 5, and 6 have space. So we're going to be starting matter sometime in November and December. You'll notice that it's time to pull out that amazing ECSD science matter bin. It has the kind of reddish color on it. When you open up that ECSD science bin in your school, you'll see the placemat. You'll notice that in grade 4, we have a crate for you called hazardous headbands. There's the squish and squeeze one for grade 5, and you'll need those syringes and those Nerf darts bullets from the matter bin. And then we have constructing a thermometer, and there are some pieces in there as well that will support you in constructing that thermometer. So make sure you find the matter ECSD science bin somewhere in your school. Now, be aware, when we think matter, a couple of things come to mind. Right away, a lot of people go with phase changes. But we'll notice that phase changes originally show up in our grade 3 science curriculum. And it also clearly defines in grade 3 where matter is. Matter is anything that takes up space and has weight. And that's where we also talk about freezing, evaporation, condensation, melting, solid, liquid, and gas in grade 3. So you'll see here, that's why we always need to be on our new Alberta, Learn Alberta curriculum site. I have a screenshot from my computer. I always have 3 grades up at one time, so I can see where my students are coming from, where they need to be, and where they are with me, and then where it's going to level up in the next grade. So Kat and I also suggest having New Learn Alberta open like that for you as well, so that you're not under teaching or over teaching this organizing idea. So just even saying the word matter to our students, we might get a few of these misconceptions. And these are things that we want to keep in our mind so that when we're going through our grade specific curriculum of this organizing idea, that we are not confusing mass and volume. They are not the same. Volume is a measure of the space matter occupies, the amount of space, same volume, but different mass. Look at that bowling ball and that basketball. Some of your students might come with the misconception too that phase change means a new type of matter. That's why we spend a lot of time in our classes talking about liquid water versus solid water. It's still water, it's still H2O. Some of your students might come with a misconception that weight and density are interchangeable. So that's something that we need to be aware of as well. And then even the last misconception that all solids are hard and all liquids are watery. That's why we have that slime and oobleck crate in grade 3 when we're introducing forces as well and energy, because we want to get away from some of these science misconceptions. Let's start diving into our grade levels. So you'll notice right away in grade 4 that, oh, this feels a bit familiar, but it is not identical to our legacy science of waste in our world. We will not be talking about producers, consumers, and decomposers. We don't need to go into worms or vermicomposting like we used to, or even biodegradable. We do not need to be talking about the advantages or disadvantages of packaging like we used to. We do go beyond more than the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, recycle. Even to knowing our curriculum is spiral and that we are going to be talking about care for creation and taking care of our earth throughout all the grades, we do need to look carefully at our new Learn Alberta cusps. So on the next slide, we'll see that we have in the knowledge section, methods of waste management can reduce negative environmental impacts. And we have the the indicator there, the language marker include. That means we must talk about reducing, reusing, recycling, repurposing, repairing, and composting with our kids. And I mentioned before that we have the true spiral curriculum. You'll even see in kindergarten that environments can be protected in many ways, such as reducing waste, reusing, and recycling. So knowing that even our little kindergartners are being exposed to this, think about the depth in which you'll need to go into reducing, reusing, and recycling. They might come with a lot of background information already there. Then too, you'll see that waste materials may be solids, liquids, or gases. Your grade 3 students who are now in grade 4 will have had exposure to these changes in states of matter from grade 3 new science last year. So you won't need to build that foundational piece. You can just go right in. 2, you'll notice in our skills and procedures, we have new opportunities for launching some scientific methods and an inquiry cycle with natural phenomena, because we're going to compare the different methods of waste management and discuss their environmental impacts. 2, we're going to get into some scientific diagramming and labeling when we represent a recycling process using diagrams. So there are many opportunities for some great hands-on and investigative pieces in this grade 4 organizing idea of matter. Here on the next slide are some resources to support you. Oh, I'm going into your second band of cuss. Sorry. You're going to be looking at dangerous materials, and you're going to be just looking into the hazard symbols. You're identifying hazards and you're discussing them. So we don't need to go too deep into research projects or things. And there are great resources for you, such as the hazardous headbands to garbage gifts, GIFs, curriculum crate that will also incorporate some scientific methods and computer science for you. And you'll be happy to hear that the City of Edmonton has reopened their Waste Warriors program and that you can visit local facilities to discuss garbage, recycling, food scraps, and yard waste. I've linked it all here for you, so hope you take advantage of some of the great resources available on our City of Edmonton website and some of the field trip opportunities that they present. Kat, anything to add?
Yes. So the Edmonton Reuse Center is free this year, so you don't need a subscription membership. And if you're interested in doing a tour as a teacher, staff, or if you're interested in touring with your students, just get in touch with me and we can contact our contact through the Edmonton Reuse Center.
And then two, you'll see in the swag this week on myECSD.net that there's a new opportunity through Staples to have all of our schools go green. And now we can recycle all those pens, Sharpies, markers. So hope you take advantage of that and even take a peek into Eco Schools Canada. We have that available to our schools, and it's a fantastic way to get our students and our schools involved in protecting our environment. And it links directly with our curriculum. So hope you check out those resources. Let's dive now into grade 5. Grade 5, we're leveling up and we're going into particles. Notice I am going to keep repeating the word particles, 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 not atoms, not molecules. We need to ensure we're using the vocabulary that is clearly defined in our knowledge section of the CUSP. It tells us exactly how liquids behave, how gases behave, and what attractive forces are. So once again, that's going to help make sure that I'm not over teaching or under teaching. Then also be aware in the skills and procedures for grade 5, we're describing the impact attractive forces have on the movement and arrangement of particles and solids, liquids, and gases. It's in grade 6 that we're going to go deep into heating and cooling and how those affect the movement of particles. So make sure you're not over teaching too much in grade 5. When we are representing these solids, liquids, and gases, there's an amazing opportunity to integrate some of the computer science, and we have microbits and the particle model of matter. And you have 10 microbits in your ECSD science bins that you can use with your class to engage in that. And the next band of cusps, oh, Kat, can you go one back? Sorry. You have another band of cusps. And the first one, you're representing the solids, liquids, and gases and talking about their movement and arrangement and attractive forces. But the second band of cusps, we're going to be going into a lot of scientific methods, because you'll see under that skill and procedure, we have to measure, directly compare, relate, compare compressibility, and a practice appropriate and safe use of scientific materials and tools, measuring tools. So fun times ahead, friends, lots of opportunities for hands-on engagement. And here you will see that squish and squeeze with our lovely syringes and our Nerf bullets. So great opportunities to collect some data. Now, we'll see the word density repeated a few times in grade 5 and in grade 6 as well. So be aware and think of when is the best time to do those density towers. And I've linked for you here some key visuals that will help with some of those science misconceptions that the denser an object, the more particles it has, less dense to more dense. So here are some resources to support you. You will find all these images taken from crates. Then we level up and go into grade 6, where the focus is heating and cooling. Once again, in the skills and procedures, you will see conduct a controlled experiment. There is a crate there with scientific methods included. You will see in the second band of cusps, we have create a tool that measures temperature based on expansion and contraction of a liquid. We have a crate there for you on how to construct a thermometer with your class. We've also included some science or computer science in there, and that you can code a microbit to become a thermometer, and you can compare and contrast the reliability and the quantitative data that you gather from both. Then look at this band of cusps in grade 6. You'll see that we had to do some crossing and lining up of the knowledge with the skills and procedures. There's going to be talking about expansion and contraction. And then we also go into liquid water and ice. You'll see it says not ice, but less dense in solid form are water. And so I have helped with some of your backwards design planning here and showed you how those knowledge and how that skill and procedure lines up. Then I have linked for you also the grade 6 Imagine If Density Crate. So we're going to use one of those Harvard Project Zero Visible Thinking routines and imagine if ice was more dense than water. Now, with all these particles, we're also going to link it to computer science, and we're going to leverage gizmos, which are an example of abstraction, and we will see the word abstraction in grade 6 computer science. We can't physically see these particles with our eyes. We can engage in the natural phenomena. We can feel the solid. We can feel the liquids. We can feel the gases, but we cannot see those particles actually moving. So linked on the pacing guides and in curriculum crates, we have those gizmos for you that you're going to want to use. You'll see here the particles with heating and cooling for grade 6. And then in grade 5, there is a wide variety of density labs for you to engage with. So if you need help checking those out, or if you do not have your subscription or access to Explore Learning to access every single gizmo available and easily share those out to your Google Classrooms, please send Kat or I an email and we'd be happy to set up your Gizmos account on Explore Learning. Now, there are more resources for you. You'll see in the crates that Kat and I work really hard to incorporate those scientific methods and our computer science because those two organizing ideas are year long. But here are some more resources for you. The Alberta Assessment Consortium or Alberta Professional Development Consortium has now become APLC. And on there, they have making connections. So grade 4 matter in computer science, grade 5 matter in computer science, and grade 6 matter in computer science. It's fun in grade 6. There's a lot of opportunities for conditional statements too. So if a liquid is more dense, then so we can use some of those conditional statements without tech to be describing our scientific evidence. Now, don't forget, we have those scientific methods. You hear me saying it all the time. I wanted to highlight here in grade 4, we do have opportunities to use those words, such as those key vocabulary words of qualitative, quantitative, evidence, reliability, and validity. And then we level those up again in grade 5. And then in grade 6, we're even using the word hypothesize. So make sure you have that investigative inquiry cycle that's at the top of all your pacing guides to help you integrate that lovely organizing idea. We need the content of matter to give the context for our scientific methods. Pat, how about you speak to this? These are your babies.
I can speak to this. So last year, Allison Gabucci, our assessment consultant, we had a cohort of teachers working together on these learning progressions. And all of these learning progressions are available on our SharePoint site, through the Google Drives, or you can click on them through our pacing guides. What you're going to find in the learning progressions are a really nice scope and sequence of the order of which you can teach those cusps. So if you're looking for a basis or where to start, this is a great place to look first. These are all clickable for you. And what we've included in these learning progressions are learning intentions, success criteria that you can share with parents or put into PowerTeacher Pro if you're adding those assignments. We've got different ideas for assessment. So all of that assessment for, as, and of learning, and then some sample learning experiences that are there for you. All of our learning experiences are cross-posted from our pacing guide, our SharePoint site, or you might find new lessons that have been added in there by teachers.
We still have 2 science COPs going on. We are scientists investigating and planning with scientific methods and our computer science and STEM COP. If you would like to join, please give me an email and we'd love to see you on December 12th. So if you can't get enough science, Kat and I have always got you covered and would love you to join. Oh, I see in the chat that Brigitte would like to go back and find the learning progressions. Kat, maybe you want to drive and show all the way from the start where we can find those lovely learning progressions.
So I was going to put the SharePoint site in the chat, but it turns into a really, really long link. So a couple things that you can do is you can click directly on our slide deck to find the ones for matter, or you're going to go to our elementary science SharePoint site. And you can do it through a couple ways. You can go through our pacing guides and find them there, or grade level resources. I'm going to click on grade 5. And I know that I want to look at matter, so I'm going to matter. It'll kind of redirect us again to another page, but we still want grade 5 matter. And then you're going to see a more visual view of all of the resources that are available. This is all the lessons that are in our pacing guide, curriculum crates. And anytime you see sort of this planner with purple and blue, that's where you're going to find our learning progression. So all in those Google Drives. Big recommendation is that once you're in this Google Drive folder, you can click on the drop down, organize, And you can add a shortcut to your Google Drive so that you have it saved there and you can keep coming back to it without all those clicks on SharePoint.
Kat, while you're driving, can you remind our friends how to get to the Discovery Education resource boards for their grade and their subject?
Yes. Okay, so you're going to open up a new tab and you're going to go to ECSD bookmarks. Before they used to be listed here, but now we're going to go to ECSD. And within ECSD, we've got our Discovery Education. If you're just simply Googling Discovery Education, it's going to take you to the American site and won't prompt your login to get to our ECSD subscription of Discovery Education. So once you're in Discovery Education, you can click, and this is the long way, you can click on the global navigation page to My Content. And we're going to go to District Content. Then you'll find it under Science Elementary, and we'll go to Grade 4, Matter. And we highly recommend once you get to this stage, you bookmark it so you don't have to keep clicking this way again. And it'll take you directly to our resource boards. Another shortcut to get to this spot is right on our pacing guides. You're going to see an image, a thumbnail image of this board right in the pacing guide, and you can directly click. Now, when you're in our Discovery Education boards, you're going to notice that the learning outcome, the understandings for that month have been paced out for you. And everything from the knowledge, the skills and procedures are all clickable links. So we're looking at compare the different methods of waste management and discuss their environmental impacts. You're going to notice that we've provided you with a Venn diagram, a strategy, or a routine for students to engage in their learning or to show their learning. And then you're also going to find mentor texts that have been developed at an appropriate reading level, videos to support that visual representation, and more clickable links to help you with the background knowledge of all of matter. On the side as well, you're going to see that we've provided some teacher notes. So these are all background knowledge builders if you wanted to get more information. And oftentimes as well, we'll try to put all of those strategies that we're highlighting in the teacher notes. When you see this sort of thumbnail, those are meant to be student videos, so you can directly share any of those videos to your Google Classroom. So you can have students watch again, or you can sit and slide beside them and go through the strategy or the routine. Okay, we'll head back to our slide deck. Okay, here we go.
Thanks, Kat, for doing all that driving. So that's your quick rundown of where to find all the great things. Obviously, our languages school, reach out to me and I will support you in finding those French or Spanish resources because we do have EDLO, all of the French mentor videos that, because DE, we can't get it in French, but we can have it in other places. So I'd be happy to support you with that. Knowing some of the misconceptions, knowing where you can integrate scientific methods and computer science, do you have any questions for Katerina and I and how to support you in your science? Feel free to unmute yourself or you may type in the chat and we'd be happy.
And at this time, I'm going to stop the recording, so don't be shy about turning your cameras on.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a